Welcome to CAS 133, Columbia Gorge Community College, the Dalles, Oregon, Mrs. Hughitt instructor. This is your getting started video. It's going to help you figure out what to do in the class. Unfortunately, it likes to scroll to one side, and I can't see that on my screen. So we're sort of in the 3 strikes and you're out situation, in the sense that I am, in fact, making this for about the 4th time, and what it is going to be what it is. One of the things I like to always point out to students is if you look over on this side of the page that there are a lot of things that you can see here. If you don't want them, I mean, you can open them, you can close them. If you don't want them, you can send them over to the other side. Now, hopefully we're back in the center, best I can tell, and we will kind of read down the center information that's in the middle of the screen. If you're not seeing it completely in the video, you'll be able to see it when you log into your computer into Moodle, and you're looking straight down the middle. It's just what talks about the class. It talks about the fact that you need a PC or a Mac for this class. You cannot really do it on an iTouch, an iPad, a phone, other mobile devices. The Linux operating system will not work since you cannot install Microsoft Office on it. You must have the textbook, and it has to be the 2013 version. The older books will not work. They have totally different projects. If you're going to buy Microsoft, you want to get the 2013 version of it, or the 365. Probably your cheapest and best deal is at the school store, at CGCC bookstore. They have a student version that they can sell for quite a reasonable rate if you compare it to what you would pay at Best Buy, Staples, online, etc. It is a much cheaper deal. If you're using a Mac, you have to get the 365, and even then, I don't believe it's quite an exact match. We'll talk a little bit more what you do if that's the situation. You can do the first 2 weeks of the term without the textbook or without the software. Please do not stop doing the work or never start doing the work going, but I don't have, because all you're doing is going to get behind. Those 2 weeks allow you to get. You can either figure out where you can use Microsoft 2013, college library, both campuses, those types of things, friends, neighbors, possibly a public library. Be sure to check, not just assume. How many hours a week can you work there? Those types of things. When's it open? All of those types of details that will make a difference to your success. However, the first 2 weeks can be done with just your computer. Once you get logged in, you're going to read the start here. You're going to go through the video. You're going to read your syllabus. And in most classes, they read the syllabus to you the first session. We're not reading the class syllabus. You're going to need to be responsible for making sure you do, in fact, read that. It does have required and necessary information in it. And when I get questions about things that are in the syllabus or in this video, I pretty well know you haven't looked at it, or at least not gone all the way through it. Course outcome guide, grading rubric, late work, all of those types of policies are in Moodle for you to look at. This is an online class. We do not meet at the college at all, so you don't have to email me and ask me when we're meeting, because we're not. All work is due Friday, or excuse me, let me repeat that. All work is due Saturday night at 11:55. I usually just say midnight because that's basically what it is. You need to plan your work time during the week to allow about 10 hours of work time. That is kind of an average. If you read slowly, have a difficult time understanding what you've read, have to go back through it 2 or 3 times. If you type slowly, obviously somebody that types 12 words a minute is going to take a lot longer than somebody who types 120 words a minute in a computer-based class. So keep those types of things in mind. If you were taking this face-to-face, it would be 5 hours of seat time in a classroom, and usually an equivalent amount or equal amount of time of homework. 5 plus 5 is your 10 hours for an average. There are no set office hours. This is an online class. If you have a question, you send me an email. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. If I'm out and about, I usually check it on my phone or my iPad during the day. You'll just have to excuse typos. It's well known. I can't type on those things. I'm not sure I'm perfect with a keyboard by any means, but I'm really not perfect with those. But I try to get an answer to you as quickly as I can. Also, usually an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours for an answer a lot of times. However, it can be 12 hours if I'm not around my computer, or if I'm flying, something like that. The other thing, give me 24 hours or so If you're not hearing back in 24 hours, you can start to go, At 48 hours, if you've not heard back, you need to try again. It's either gotten lost in my pile of email, and I do get a pile, or it never made it to even get lost in the pile of emails. So please retry. College policy is 48 hours response time. I've never taken that long. In Moodle is where you're going to find everything that you're going to need. All your materials are there other than your textbook materials. You will be posting in Moodle. You'll be turning in Moodle. No need to print unless you print for yourself. There will be a forum you'll be doing each week and a reply. If you're doing a project from the book, when we get to that point, they do need to match exactly. So if you're opting to use software other than Microsoft 2013 or 365, for example, you're using the 2010 or you're using some other type of software, you are going to need to make your work match the textbook work, which is going to be challenging at best. My email address is listed there in the center. So now we should be seeing, hopefully, if this thing is all centering upright, you should see course information. Start here and read before you start the course. So what are you going to find here? You're going to find the Start Here video, some class information, and some information on how the class works. My introduction is here. I also put one a lot of times in the forum, but this is my official one. Your class syllabus is right there. You need to download it and you need to read it. I would suggest a printed copy of it if you have printing capabilities. Course content, grading rubric and information, extra credit information. So if you think, oh, I want to do some extra credit, don't email me and ask. Please go into Moodle and read because it's going to have all the information there. Same with the late work policy. The late work policy is in there. It states what you can and cannot do. I tend to not vary from it very much. You basically have 1 week to turn your work in. At the end of that 1 week, if you've not completed the main assignments like the book projects, you'll have an additional week. However, you cannot complete the forums or the journals. So that means basically a 26-point loss every single week. You can't afford that and pass the class. So it'd have to be a one-time thing, not an every week thing. After that second 1 week, so you have now 2 weeks, if the work's not been submitted, the links are closed and you're not going to be turning it in. Now, if you've had some major crisis come up in your life, a serious accident, illness that requires hospitalization, those types of things that are, very major life events, then I may be able to work with you about that. Please contact me. Please understand I may ask for proof. If you said I've gone to my grandfather's funeral, I may ask for you to take a picture of that little brochure. They do it most funerals, or the obituary. If you say, my child was in the hospital for 3 days, I may ask for, like the discharge papers or something like that. If we're going to be making those types of special exceptions, I can request proof. It's not for taking a vacation. It's not for, I got a cold. It's not because you have 6 children and it's summer and they don't go to school during the summer and it's a little crazy. That's what you need to plan for when you take the class, is whether you can deal with the crazy that goes with summer. Email etiquette, basically email manners. It's really important that you read that. Obviously, there are appropriate ways to address people in emails, including instructors in classes, and you need to know what those are. If you have a question or a concern, please address me politely, not in a huffy-puffy, threatening type manner. I don't take well to that at all, and so you'll make a lot more progress with a polite email, which would follow the netiquette rules. Netiquette is talking about general online interaction with not only myself, but with anyone else in the class. So please check those out. Calendar and due dates, that basically shows up in Moodle. Assignment sheet, if you'd like to have it printed or have a copy of it, you can from right there. Instructors forum, this is probably one of the most important things we'll be discussing today, because that's where I post all the information for the class. Oops, Microsoft has changed something. Here are some new directions. Or oops, we've discovered a problem. Here are some new directions. Please make sure you're checking that every 24 to 48 hours, no longer than 48 hours. That means you are logging into the computer at least, and into Moodle and into the class at least once every 2 days. Now, sometimes the question will come up, well, Moodle sends me an email and I don't have to go look, do I? Well, I hope Moodle sends you an email, but Moodle has been really cranky lately, and over the last term, it's quit sending emails 2 or 3 times and had to be fixed and reset. So unless somebody catches that and lets the person know, and then they have to let somebody else know, and then they have to figure out what it is. So you're responsible for logging in and actually looking. Don't assume the emails are coming. Just because you're not hearing doesn't mean I'm not posting. It just means Moodle's being cranky again. Coffee shop is totally different. It's not an ask 3 then ask me type of thing. Other students are probably not going to be able to help you for class questions. I'm probably the best shot there, so you're going to want to email me, not message me in Moodle. You're going to want to email me. However, this would be great if you want to put a study group together, or let's say your car breaks down and you need a ride to another college class, and you want to see if anybody lives in your area and is going on that day. You can throw it in there and see if you have any luck. Down here, the resources for CS 133, and these are as needed. Just going to hit on a couple of them, though, that may be helpful to know about. Tech help for Moodle is a really important one, but it's not just Moodle. Ron Watrous will really help you with any computer-based issues that are class-related, i.e. I can't get Office to install, or I can't upload, or I can't download, or I don't know how to make this work. He's willing to help with most of those types of things as long as they're related to college class you're taking. And his information is there. The next one is the ADA disabilities information. If you have a disability that needs an adaptation or modification, you need to use this link, get a hold of Shayla Dahl, and set up the plan. The plan's then sent by her to me. Once that plan arrives to me and I approve it and agree that it will work for this class, then we are good to go. It implements at that time. So if you wait till the last week to do that, it starts the last week of class. It's not retroactive, so if you have a need, take care of it now. Sending me an email, say, well, I don't see real well, or I type really slow because I have arthritis, or whatever it is that is, in fact, your disability. It needs to go through her and through the official channels and be recognized as an official disability, and paperwork or whatever has to be done has to happen that way. I can't just say, oh, sure, here, let's do this, okay? So please make sure you take care of that. Student services, the ebook, webbook site, how to get sound working when viewing a PowerPoint, and just for your information, there are 2 versions of the book out. They are basically the same. One has enhanced materials in it. It's a newer book, probably be harder to find used, probably will cost you more, and it's not going to do you any extra good in class. But if that's what you stumble into and are able to use, that's fine. It won't make any difference one way or the other. All the pages that we use in the book are in both copies, in the same place, the same way, same page numbers, everything. PowerPoints do have sound you're going to need to listen to. If you don't know how to get it to work, there are your directions. Now, at the beginning of the term, you need to log in here, get down here, read this academic honesty, do this little question. It has a pre-test and post-test. When you take the pre-test, you need to put my email address in, and I do suggest you copy and paste it. It is right up at the top. I also suggest you send it to your email address. Then do whatever you needed to study, take the post-test, and repeat. If for some reason it does not make it to me, that way you have a copy of it and you can forward it to me if I let you know it's missing. The problem with not doing that is the computer will not, or the site will not let you take the test again on the same computer. So if you take it, you don't get a copy of it, I don't get the copy, you will have to find another computer to take it on. I will post your grade in here so you're able to look and see what you've got. If you have a blank after it's due, you'll know that I didn't get it. Video on cheating and taking a 6-question cheating quiz. Now, if I don't have at least one of these by Thursday night, I will be dropping you from the class. You're supposed to have both in, so if you're not going to be able to get both of them in for some reason, you need to be in touch with me. If you're not going to be able to turn any of them in, but you do want to stay in the class, you need to be in touch with me. But what I will tell you I found is almost always, if a student hasn't done those 2 quizzes, which take you maybe a total of less than an hour, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in 4 days, you're probably not going to be able to put the type of time in you need for this class and be successful, because you've done very little work and your week's about over. So get those done early, get them in quickly. There is a first form where you introduce yourself and you reply to one other person in the class. Then we move into the week 1 work. Once week 1 is open, you need to move down here. These are basically support resources. And down here is the video that will start you for that week. Each week there will be a video that will help you with that week's assignment. Goes over the nuts, bolts, details, tips, tricks, and where most disasters happen at, and walks you through the week. So please make sure you always start there. And I'll be back and talk to you again for week 1.